Hello, welcome to another episode of Scara's Screamcast. My name is Scara, Damsel of the Doomed. I will be your host. Who else is it going to be? It's just me here. But that's going to change because very soon I'm going to have guests on. Not every episode, but some episodes. Some of them you'll know, some of them you won't know. They'll just be my friends who I think would be funny to have on the show. Okay. And it's going to be cool. Do you want to be a guest on the show? Give me a call at 512-710-8766. Let me know if either you want to make an appearance on the show. You have to be here in my actual living room, or if you know someone who would be a good guest for me to have. 512-710-8766. Having said that, let me have a little sip of my Fresca real quick. Can you, little ASMR for you. That's the ice. Fresca, grape fruit flavored soda. So refreshing. I typically like Fresca in the summertime, but here we are in March. This is my birthday month, fool. My birthday is March 29th. What are you going to get me? What you going to get me? I should be at Cult Classic Convention out in Bastrop on my birthday. I should be. So if you're going to go out there, come find me and say hello. If not, then, other conventions I'm going to this year include Texas Frightmare Weekend in May. I'll have a table there. And also at Houston Horror Film Fest in August, I'll have a table there. And hopefully I'll be doing some interview panels for Houston. I'm waiting to find out. But convention season's upon us. It's getting there. Like it starts, for me anyway, this is when it starts. I know San Antonio's got them all the time. What are y'all doing in San Antonio? What are you doing in San Antonio? You guys have a horror convention every month. Do people go every month? They must. I mean, why else would y'all have them so often? I know San Antonians. I know you guys love horror down there, and I think that's cool. But boy, you sure do have a lot of horror conventions. So anyway, I know you guys have one soon, Big Texas Terror, and then it's Cult Classic. We just had Nosferatu Festival here in Austin. That was fun. I got to host the music portion of that, and my band, The Immortals, got to headline on Saturday, which was so cool. I had the best time. I made these bedazzled bat wings that extend. I didn't make the wings. I bedazzled wings that I purchased. But boy, maybe I'll be able to insert a clip here and then clip this and show you on social media. But when those wings extended, I could hear the audience gasp, and that's why I did it. Hours and hours of gluing AB rhinestones to these giant bat wings. It was well worth it. I like pleasing the audience. It's crazy. Like I don't know about males as much, but I know female performers put a lot of money into their stage attire. It's a lot. Let me tell you something right now. As doing what I do as a horror host, if I am hosting your event, the way I show up costs me money. It costs money every time I do my makeup. These nails, girl, you see these nails? Do you think they are just some kind of press-on bullshits? No. These nails are done by my lovely nail tech, Nicole, at Thunderbolt Nails, and they cost money, and they should, because it costs her time, her skill, her expertise, and they stay on my fingers. They don't pop off. They're not bullshit. They're high quality, but they cost a lot of money. Makeup costs a lot of money. Hair costs a lot of money. My costuming, my clothing, that's all money. For a long time, I tried to just have one dress that I would wear, but it doesn't cut I have a classic Scara dress, and then I have a lot of dresses that are in the Scara silhouette or the Scara style. But I have a lot. When I do Scara Scream Theater, right? That's my monthly show where I'm privileged to show horror movies out at Doc's Drive-In Theater once a month on the first Sunday of the month. And I do promo art for that show. The promo art costs money. I sometimes I'll have everything I need in my wardrobe, but often I have to buy an item or two, or I have to buy a prop every month. That's money, right? And then I have to give my artist money, which I get him for a steal. He really deserves so much more money than I have to give him. Thank you so much, Dr. Abominable. You are just way too talented, just so good at what he does. But anyway, I digress. When I am on the stage for the Immortals, I spend money to make sure every time I'm on that stage, it's a new look. It's something visually amazing. I make props. I do all sorts of stuff so that whatever I give you on stage as a host or as a musician or as a band member, it's going to be a wow factor. If I'm hosting your event, you are going to get someone who I can speak to an audience. Do not have stage fright whatsoever. I'll make sure I say what you need to say. I'll make sure you have the vibe that you want. And I'm going to look awesome, buddy. But just so you know, looking awesome is not free. Everything costs money. And it costs time. It takes a while to get into all of this. Okay? I'm just educating. Just for your information. And I noticed that, there's other performers that I work with, especially the females, I have to say, that put in a lot of effort into their appearance. And so I want to applaud them for that. They look amazing. They just do. Oh, man, we played with this band called Witch's Ride from LA. It's a female-fronted band. And the singer of that band had such a powerful, strong voice. And her look was really cool, too. She looked great, sounded great. Her band was great. You guys should check out Witch's Ride. Look them up on Spotify. And if you didn't get to see them, I am so sorry for you because they were really fun. But I think I have to say, my favorite part of Nosferatu Festival was watching the performance of Sticky Gold, who is a drag queen here in Austin, Texas. And that motherfucker showed up dressed as Nosferatu from Robert Eggers' movie. He showed up as Count, Orlok from this recent Nosferatu, right? And he did his act. He did like a burlesque drag kind of act. And it was one of the most entertaining things I have seen in a long time. It had me howling. I was laughing so hard. And I was standing right by the front door. And when he really started cooking, I was like, oh my God, everybody has to see this. So I remember I opened the door and I was just gesturing for people to come in because I wanted to make sure everybody that was standing outside would experience what was going on stage. That drag queen, Sticky Gold, you are hands down, like, you're just top notch. I think that was my favorite part of Nosferatu Festival this year. Wow. The good thing is, if you're in the Austin area, Sticky Gold, go follow them on Instagram. They perform in Austin periodically, so you'll be able to catch a show. But I loved it. I don't know if you could top that. That was so good. So that was this weekend, Nosferatu Festival. Good time as always. I appreciate that our band got to play there. That was nice. I don't know when my band, the Immortals, will be playing next. Our guitar player is going to leave here shortly to go to New Mexico to make a movie. He's working on a movie he wrote called Demon Code. And so he'll be gone for like 5 weeks for that, I think. And then our bass player is getting married and having a baby soon. His wife is pregnant. Allie's pregnant. I'm just announcing that for everyone now. I made sure Allie has already, done the Facebook post. But yeah, so our bass player's having a baby, and our guitar player is directing a movie. So the Immortals probably will be on hiatus for just a little bit, but that's all right. We'll come back. We've got new songs in the works that we want you to hear. So we'll be back. Okay. What do we have next? Oh, yesterday I got to see The Bride, Maggie Gyllrnhaal's movie, The Bride. And she wrote this movie. She directed this movie. I'm going to pull up the IMDb here so I can refer to my notes. And I was lucky to get in through for a sneak peek. Now, I'm not going to give you any spoilers here, and I'm not going to speak super negatively about this movie. Okay. What I'm going to do is tell you this. There were things I loved about The Bride, and things I liked about it, but I didn't love the movie. Let's talk about what I loved about it. First and foremost, it's very stylish. This movie is set in the 30s, which is a cool twist, And so the costuming's beautiful. The set design is amazing. The movie itself looks really good. It's gorgeous, in fact. The colors, everything. The bride's dress, she wears one dress throughout the whole movie, but she accessorizes. She'll put on a jacket at one point she puts a jacket on, and another point she has this netting around her face, and then that netting ends up in her hair. I'm going to talk about that later. But the movie's very stylish, highly stylish, stylized, you could say, which I really liked. Something that I loved about it is, let me tell you, okay, you have Annette Bening in that movie. Here are the female stars of the movie. Starting with Jessie Buckley. She plays the bride. Annette Bening plays the doctor, like not the mad scientist, kind of a mad scientist. I forget the character's name. Dr. Euphoria. Oh, I have it right here. Let's see. Who do you play, Miss Annette Bening? Annette Bening plays Dr. Euphronius. You have Annette, and then you have Penelope Cruz. Okay, and then there's one more. Jeannie Berlin, I think is her name. All of these women are over 40, including the bride, including Jessie Buckley, who plays the bride, who I think is 41. Penelope Cruz is 51. Annette Bening is like 67. And Jeannie Berlin is 76. Maggie Gyllrnhaal, thank you so much. I myself, being a woman who is no spring chicken, and I don't care. I don't want to be. I like aging. I like moving into the crone era of my life. But because it's how it's always been. It's because most movies have been directed by men. I don't know why it is the way it is. But women, after 30, you don't see them in movies so much anymore. To the point to where, like, you can have. I remember there was a movie where Catherine Zeta-Jones, when she was a younger woman, played Sean Connery's love interest, and I think he was like 30 years older than she was. Get the fuck out of here with that. But that was like in the 90s or early 2000s, whatever movie that was. It was always like you would have these old crusty asshole men, and their love interests were always way, 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 way younger, like shockingly younger. Super weird stuff. And they'll tell you, I guess, like, oh, it's because sex sells and people want to see vibrant, vivacious, beautiful women on screen. But I guess they don't want to see young men on the screen. What? I don't know. It never really made sense to me. So it was super refreshing and a breath of fresh air that Maggie Gyllrnhaal put women in there that were not in their, it wasn't just a cast full of women in their 20s. I loved it for that. I'm glad I saw this movie in the theater for that aspect alone. And I'm glad she gave those actresses work. That's the other thing. Annette Bening's a fabulous actress. But because Annette Bening is 67, you don't see her that much anymore. You know? It's terrible. Terrible. The only actress of an advanced age, it's like we're only allowed one, and it's Meryl Streep. And you see her in everything, you know? But there are other actresses of advanced age that are viable and can, you know, can do the job still. So kudos to Maggie Gyllrnhaal for including such a cool cast of women in her movie. Now, I read that Maggie Gyllrnhaal, the reason why she wanted to make this movie was she was at some party or some function and some guy had like a tattoo of the bride on his forearm. And she said it covered his entire forearm. And that she was like, what is this? She had never seen The Bride of Frankenstein. So she wanted, that tattoo made her want to see it. So she saw The Bride and was surprised that the bride, the character of the bride's only in the movie for like 2 minutes and she has no lines. So she set out and she wrote the screenplay for The Bride and was very ambitious with it. And to me, like the two kind of main notes of the movie, it's like what hit me anyway was the importance of consent and the danger of loneliness. And she wove those in and out. But I'm going to kind of go back and forth here, I guess. I think I think the story needed to be tightened up. I think there was elements of the story that probably could have been just taken out completely that muddled the story. And I think it needed to be tightened up with some character development of some of the other characters. That's just my opinion, you know. I'm not talking shit. That's just my opinion. I think the story itself needed some help. Now, going back to the look of this movie, I loved the look of the bride. She had a 1930s short haircut, a bob kind of haircut, and it was shockingly blonde. And you see in the poster, she has the black splash across her face and black lips and a black tongue. It's because whatever the fluid is that they use when they reinvigorate her or bring her back to life, it stains. She coughs it up and it, you know, stains her skin. And to me, that was kind of, it's like you could almost see their thought process of, wow, you know, the first bride from the movie in the 30s was very iconic. And she had, you know, it was in black and white, but she had red hair with a white stripe. Although, since it was black and white, a lot of people and a lot of the art depicts the bride as having black hair with a white stripe. And so it's almost like they're trying to figure out what could visually be super iconic about this bride, but different, not doing the white stripe thing. And so they did, you know, she has white, very pale skin, and she has this almost white hair. It's shockingly platinum blonde. She barely has an eyebrow. And then this black just splash across her face, which looks really cool. I really like that. And then later in the movie, you know, I was telling you about how she grabs accessories here and there. So she gets this netting, this black netting, and it's around her head for a while, which looked really cool. And then she ends up like putting it in her hair. And so it's this black stripe in her hair for a little bit of the movie, which is kind of like the inverse of the black and white bride, you know, having quote unquote black hair with a white stripe. I don't know why I said quote unquote. What was that about? What I meant was, I know her hair's red in real life. Okay, from Universal Monsters Bride. I know. You don't have to tell me. What else? Okay. Jessie Buckley's acting in this movie was so good. I don't want to give anything away, but she definitely plays two characters. And she switches back and forth on a dime and is able to do so seamlessly. Does it? I after talking to some of my friends that were at the same screening, the fact that she plays two characters wasn't appreciated by a lot of people. So I'm not going to say much about that because I don't want to spoil it for you. But Okay. It did. What it did do is it showed Jesse Buckley's acting chops, and they were there. Christian Bale as Frankenstein. I call him Frankenstein because that's what he calls himself. He says he took his father's name, so it's Frankenstein. And his acting, of course, it's Christian Bale. Of course, it's good. His look was interesting too. So I read that Maggie Gyllrnhaal wanted his look to be more realistic as far as what she said. She said it would be scarier and more interesting to her to have a Frankenstein that looked more realistic and less like a Halloween mask. And so it's, flesh stitched together, swollen areas, discoloration. It looked really cool. Frankenstein's trying to hide his face in a lot of the movie. But he's got these staples holding his scalp on. It was a cool look. I thought, again, stylistically, this movie gets 4 stars from me. The dress that the bride wears, like I said, she wears the one dress throughout the movie, and it gets, it gets stains here and tattered and torn a little bit, but it's only the one dress. She's got really cool shoes. She's wearing green tights, which I thought was another interesting choice. I'm not sure why they went with green. I'm sure there's a reason. But yeah, this movie, the budget, can you believe this, was $80 million. Damn. $80 million. I hope it does well in the box office. I think the first half of the movie's pretty solid, and then it just gets a little muddy after that point for me. But that's not to say you're not going to like it or you won't. Maybe you'll get it more than I did. Not that it was confusing. It was just lacked connection, I guess. The connective tissue wasn't strong enough to hold all of the little story elements that was going on in this. That's what I'll say. I wanted to love this movie. I wanted to love it, but I liked it. I liked it okay, I'll say. It's not terrible. And it definitely is. It gave me big time vibes of the Joker and Bonnie and Clyde. A little bit of Natural Born Killers was in there. A little bit of Harley Quinn was in there. And apparently a lot of people are saying Joker, the second Joker, Folie à Peu or whatever it's called. Folie à Deux, I don't know. They're saying that this is the movie that Joker 2 should have been. But I didn't see the second Joker because I really liked the first Joker, and I saw the reviews for the second Joker, and I was like, maybe I'm going to pass on that. I didn't want it to get ruined for me because I thought the first Joker was brilliant, So I took a pass on that. What else can we see about this real quick? On the IMDb page for the bride. No, there's not much on it yet because it's not out officially. So I'll say this, go see. I think we should support as many movies as we can in the theater. I think we need to keep the movie theaters alive. So go out and see it if you can, if you're so inclined. There's some really cool dance numbers that I think worked. I think they worked. I think they were cool, and it was fun to see all of that. And it was fun. It's a fun movie to watch. A little long, unnecessarily so, but it wasn't like some kind of complete disappointment. I think you're going to get a lot of mixed reviews on this one. So you may love it. Or it's one of those that I would say, it's not going to hurt to read up about it before you go in to see it. And there's no big spoilers to really give. I do think it was cool that Maggie Gyllrnhaal decided to take the bride, that character, and give her her own story. I think that was really cool. Oh, and I want to say this. This is something I hate. Man, don't be one of these fools. So the movie starts and, within the first act of the movie, Frankenstein goes to the doctor and he's begging her to make him a bride. And he's talking about how lonely he is. You know, he's just terribly, heartbreakingly lonely. He's been around for 100 years or whatever at this point, and he's just so lonely. He wants a companion, and he's pleading with her to give him one. And as he's talking about this, there's a guy that's sitting like 2 rows behind me, diagonal, laughing. Almost every time Frankenstein delivers a line about how he's lonely, this guy behind me is like, what are you laughing at, Jim Bob? What's so funny, Roger? There's nothing funny about Frankenstein being lonely. It's like sometimes people want to like appear like they're in on some joke that the rest of us aren't, or they want to, if they smell like there might be a hint of irony going on, that they want to make sure everybody knows that they get it. And all it does is it pisses me off and it takes me out of the movie. Don't do that. Don't be laughing when something's not funny. The exception to the rule is if it's a slasher movie and the kills are like wildly creative, over the top stuff. And you're just like, holy shit. You know, horror fans, we get really excited with stuff like that. And it does make us laugh. Like some people laugh when they're excited. That is okay. That's fine. I don't mind that at all. And I don't think any horror fan minds that. But if you're going to laugh at somebody's heartbreak, gross. Don't do. And it happens all the time. Somebody's laughing when something's not funny. You're not cool, friend. You're not. Stifle your laughter. Eat your popcorn. Shut the fuck up. Eat your popcorn and shut the fuck up. I don't need to hear your laughter. God. Unless it's funny, you know? And there were funny moments. There's some actual good jokes in there. I think there's a lot of literary references, too, in that movie. The bride keeps saying, I'd prefer not to, which apparently is from a famous novel from the 1800s, which I'm blanking on the name. But it's basically a way to, like, say fuck the system. And, you know, she says it a lot. I prefer not to. I prefer not to. Kind of in that accent. I prefer not to. Which I'm going to start saying for just about everything. I prefer not to. Somebody asks you to move your seat on an airplane. You just look at them and say, I prefer not to. Somebody wants a bite of your French fries. I prefer not to. What else could you say it for? Somebody wants you to do something for free for them. I prefer not to. That's a good one. You should employ that. I don't have a phone call to play for you guys this week. And I've been thinking about what I could ask you. So there's a few, I guess. Have you seen The Bride? Maggie Gyllrnhaal's The Bride? If so, give me a call at 512-710-8766 and let me know what you think. I'm going to see The Scream. Oh my God. I'm going to go see Scream on Friday. So I'll let y'all know what I think about that one on next Wednesday's podcast. But like I was telling my friend Tony, it's Scream 7. I'm not expecting anything amazing. You know, there's already people online trying to tear that movie apart. Friend, you're seeing Scream 7. This is not some innovative, you know, groundbreaking film. It's Scream 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Scream 7. You know what you're getting. You know what you went to watch. Ghostface, Sydney, whatever. Come on. You don't need to like, go watch it and then get online and be like, oh, dear Facebook, I hated Scream 7 and here's why. And then give your giant list of reasons why you hated a movie, yet you've never made a movie. That's what I'm going to say about that. Oh, I'm sorry you hated Scream 7. What did you like? God, maybe I'll hate Scream 7, but here's the thing. If I hate Scream 7, I'm never going to be online publicly saying I hate Scream 7. I might say, things that I would have liked to see, a direction I would have liked it to go in or something I would have preferred or whatever. But I will never publicly shit on someone's art. And filmmaking's a collaborative art. There's a lot of people involved in that. The actors, the writer, the director, the production, set designer, costumes, hair, makeup. It's all art. Composer, director of photography. Okay. Why anyone would go online and publicly just take a shit on a movie is beyond me. Don't do it. Be nice. If you didn't like it, you could just say that. It wasn't for me, It wasn't for me. I didn't like, and you could go in and explain why, but like some people are just angrily leaving terrible negative reviews. I want to leave a negative review for you. Okay? Don't do it. All right. Well, that was my 2 cents on the bride. I'll be seeing Scream, like I said. And see you guys on Wednesday. Closer and closer to being able to have guests on this podcast. I'm excited for that. But until then, I don't know if I have, call me at 512-710-8766. If you want to make a comment, you can comment about this show that we just did, or you can make a comment about anything horror related, anything related to me. Give me a call at 512-710-8766 and let me know what horror conventions you'll be attending this year. That's a good one. Give me a call at 512-710-8766 and let me know what Universal monster you think needs an updated movie. We just saw The Bride. She got her whole movie in a new storyline. Is there another Universal monster that you want to see get the same treatment? Let me know. 512-710-8766. Call me on Scara's Scary Hotline. There we go. We got something. All right, friends. Where am I? What camera am I on? Man, I got to do that one more time. No, I don't. Never mind. I keep looking at the wrong camera. But now I'm looking at the right one. So going to go ahead and sign off. Thanks for joining me or listening. I appreciate it. Leave me a little comment there on the YouTube if that's how you're watching it. And I'll see you next week on Wednesday. My name is Scara, Damsel of the Doomed. Until next week, I'll see you in your screens. Goodbye.